I want to just get an update on your meeting with the Minister of Home Affairs with regard to an issue that you've been on about the entire time, illegal immigrants. Where are we at here?
Well, Leanne, in the 3 years, just under 3 years in government, I'm now dealing with the 5th Minister of Home Affairs. I've got letters to that effect. In fact, 2 weeks ago, I bumped into the new Minister of Home Affairs at a funeral of a medical doctor in Pretoria. And I raised this matter with him in front of the others. I said, the Minister, a week after you took over, I wrote you a letter to firstly congratulate you, and I gave you the letters of all the other ministers that I've written to before you. And he promised me, he says, Monday, Mayor, when I get to the office, I will check because I have no knowledge of those letters. Monday, when I got into the office, I immediately wrote another letter to remind him about it. The only thing I've received from him is acknowledgement of my letter. So right now, I can assure you, it leaves me with no option. Today, when I get to the office, I briefed my legal team. This matter of Home Affairs refusing to discharge that responsibility. I'm taking it to Parliament. I want Parliament Portfolio Committee on Home Affairs to hold the Minister and the Department accountable for the chaos that we are seeing in this country. Because Home Affairs is costing this country billions to ensure that our borders are protected, that people are documented, everyone. So I'm taking this matter by this afternoon. At the latest, I'm sending this to members of the portfolio on Home Affairs to call the Minister with all the correspondence that I've sent them, or I've been trying to engage them. I will show the Parliament how some of the previous ministers have insulted me when I was raising this particular matter that we are sitting with the time bomb.
Now, that's just a reminder of the interview that we conducted with Joburg Mayor Herman Mashaba. That was yesterday. And here in studio to give the response from the Department of Home Affairs, we've got Qoza, and he speaks obviously on behalf of the Minister and the Department in general. Good to have you. Thanks, Sia, for coming in to give us your views.
All right. Good morning, and thank you very much for the opportunity of having our side of the story heard as well.
All right. So let's start at the beginning with these allegations that the Mayor has put towards the department, to the Minister. And did you receive anything from him yesterday?
Well, I'm not aware of any communication from yesterday, but I am aware of the previous communication. And there has been 2 meetings with the past ministers of Home Affairs on December 13, 2016. Within 4 months of Mayor Mashaba taking office, former Minister Kigaba met him in Pretoria. And on January 17 this year, former Minister Siyabonga met him in Randburg, at our Randburg office, to engage on the issues that he was raising. And in the January meeting, they also discussed the issue which is of concern to us, which is uncollected IDs. The outcome of both of those meetings were that officials were tasked to engage at an officials level and to work. As I'm speaking to you now, my colleagues in the law enforcement unit, which we call the Inspectorate, are part of law enforcement agencies in the city, in the province, and throughout the country. For an example, here in Gauteng, they are part of the operations under Operation Ukai Mulao. So on a daily basis, our officials are working together with officials from the city, in the case of Joburg, and also other metro and other law enforcement officers, to make sure that people who are here are following the law. Yeah. And besides, what we are doing, what we are trying to do with the issue of foreign nationals is what we do for South Africans. If you are in South Africa, you are required to have documentation, to carry proper documentation. So this is not a special focus on foreign nationals. We do welcome foreign nationals who come here legally. Those who don't, most definitely get deported after following the legal processes. So
do you reject Mashaba blaming Home Affairs for what transpired in the Johannesburg CBD last week?
Well, Mayor Mashaba should know that the issues the response to the issues of the CBD last week are going to require a multidisciplinary approach. I'm quite confident that my colleagues and the ministers in the Justice Crime Prevention cluster are looking at this matter and are preparing a response. They are dealing with it and they are giving it the requisite attention. As Home Affairs, our officials are there participating and making fully sure that we do play and discharge our responsibilities.
Yeah, but when you look around, and I mean, you get the comments from a lot of South Africans that are saying that these traders are illegal. There are far too many foreigners that are operating and working here illegally, and that is the key word here, illegally, not legally working here as they have the correct documentation, but it is illegal. And what the mayor is saying is that he's got no assistance from Home Affairs, and he has no assistance from the Department of Law as well, when we talk about the law not being there, and also in terms of policing these areas. I mean, there are just so many loopholes, not that you can talk on those departments, but in terms of Home Affairs, it's too slow, and people are getting away with this.
My officials, my colleagues in the inspectorate are working with the officials in the city of Joburg and in Gauteng and the rest of the country on a weekly basis to try and conduct raids. We rely on information, and also we do our own research, and we also rely on information that's coming from the citizens in terms of which are the hotspots of where we can find people who may be in the country illegally. The issue of enforcing bylaws, that's the responsibility of the mayor, so I would not be able to comment on that. Okay. But in terms of what we do, the ministers have met Mayor Mashaba, and the outcome of those meetings has been that our officials are working together with all the other law enforcement agencies to enforce the law.
Yeah. Porous borders, foreigners getting in far too easily and coming into South Africa and becoming overpopulated, also contributing to the jobs that are not there for the average South African to earn money. I mean, this is something that South Africans are concerned about, porous borders.
Well, government as well is concerned. On July 10th this year, the minister, during his budget vote, did allude to the efforts that we are putting in place to implement what we call the Border Management Authority. That is going to be a solution which we are pursuing to deal with the porous borders. At the moment, we've got about 17 government agencies that are operating in the border environment. They are responsible, between them, they discharge 54 acts which have been passed by Parliament. So what we are looking at doing, we're looking at consolidating all of that infrastructure, making sure that there's one command in the border environment. That will greatly help to deal with people who are coming in, and also the trafficking of goods and children in particular. Yeah,
which is a major problem as well. I mean, the trafficking, there's one thing about the trafficking of goods, but the trafficking of children and women through these borders is a major problem, which again talks to the fact that there is not enough control at our borders.
Well, the Border Management Authority is the agency which is going to help us to deal with that. The process of finalizing the legislation is now currently in Parliament. It is with the National Council of Provinces, which is the second last step. And then after it has gone through that, the National Council of Provinces, it will be sent to the President for his signature. As the department, we are ready to immediately roll out the pilot and start the implementation of the Border Management Authority as soon as it becomes law.
All right, Sia, we've got to leave it there, but we thank you for coming in and giving us a response to some of the accusations that were made yesterday by the mayor, who said he's never had the opportunity to meet with the ministers. There have been 5 ministers in the department since he's taken over as the mayor, but the department saying he has had meetings with both former Minister Malusi Gigaba and Siyabonga Qoza, and Qoza was January this year. But let's leave it there for now. Thanks again, Sia Qoza, spokesperson for the Department of Home Affairs. Just after 7:30, let's get your news headlines.